Recording. And today we are talking about discipline is the real superpower in your business. So I'm gonna start out just with my opening thoughts. We're gonna kind of get into it. There are days that you wake up and you are just tired, not lazy, not unmotivated, just worn down. The kind of tired where everything feels heavier, when your mind is slower and your energy is lower. And the work you need to do feels harder than it should. You felt that, haven't you? On those days, motivation disappears. It's quiet, it's quit, it's gone, it's nowhere to be found. And that's exactly where most people fall off. They wait to feel better. They wait to be ready. They wait for motivation to come back. But here's the truth: motivation was never the thing that was going to carry you. Discipline is. Because discipline doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait. It doesn't disappear. It shows up and it moves forward anyway. And that's a real superpower, not talent, not energy, not perfect conditions, but the ability to keep showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. So today isn't about being perfect. It's about asking yourself, where does your discipline break down? And what does your discipline and what does it would it look like if you held the line anyway? So that being said, we're talking about discipline today. And how, we'll start with how do you feel about your discipline, right? I feel that like discipline has gotten me, where I was able to go with my business, just putting one foot in front of the other, and that's all it was, and I in my personal life, today I talk about being run down, um, and I still got a little workout in. Wasn't anything spectacular, but it was a little bit of work. It was enough to just kind of get my blood flowing, wake me up a little bit, make me feel a little bit better. But at the same time, I know I need to recover, rest, right, if I'm under the weather, like I was mentioning. So, how do you feel about the discipline in your life? I mean, there's discipline in different parts of our life, but how do you feel about it in general?
I feel like,
Discipline.
oh,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Fati.
Fati?
no, go ahead, Crystal. Okay. Okay.
But she said, I think you both said go ahead. So, Fati, go ahead and then Crystal.
Okay. Um, so I was gonna say, discipline is, I feel like we are not perfect human beings. So to expect one to always be disciplined is an unrealistic goal. Like we have our off days. So I think acknowledging that perhaps we have those off days and maybe reserving one day to where we're not completely disciplined would perhaps maybe help maintain the momentum.
Hmm.
Because I'm because I'm feeling really tired this week too, and
Hmm.
um, and I know like I'm like okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that, but just by thinking about all that, I'm tired.
Uh-huh.
So giving myself the grace of that, hey, like this week the discipline may be a little bit, it may look a little different, but you also have to prioritize your well-being as well.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I agree. And yeah, you can't be disciplined all the time and in all areas of your life. I mean, that's not a realistic mindset or goal either, for sure. But it was about, I guess, being disciplined when it is necessary, and you do have to take care of yourself. You can't, don't take care of you, right? You can't take care of anybody else. So no, I 100% agree with that thought. It's just and then there are areas in my life I'd like to be more disciplined. What about you, Crystal?
For me, yeah, I definitely love spontaneity. Is that what you call it? Like every
Spontaneity.
now and then, where you just like get out of like that routine. Because yeah, it is great to have discipline, but sometimes routine like feels, I don't know, like life like just goes by so fast, and
Hmm.
like I feel like you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm not living when I just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Yes, it's great as far as business wise, but
Uh-huh.
sometimes I like to switch it up. Like I might go to the movies, I don't know, on a random Thursday or something like that versus work, home, work, home, work, home, work, home, work, home, work, home. Um, so I 100% agree with Fati as well. Like, it's hard to stay disciplined, 100% of all aspect of your life, but I kind of like to switch it up sometimes too, just to like refresh myself.
Hmm. Oh no, that's absolutely worth it for personal well-being and your mindset. And so I 100% agree with both of you on that, right? And then there's just a little bit of discipline when it comes to saying, how often is too much to say, I'm going to take today off, I'm going to go do this, right? Like, and that's kind of where discipline comes into play, especially in our business. It's pretty easy to get away with not doing a lot in our business, right? And then all of a sudden, if you don't do a lot for a long enough period of time, you wake up and you got nothing in your pipeline for the next quarter, right? So you absolutely have to be able to take care of yourself and do the things that, like, hey, let me just step out today and do something a little bit different. No, yeah, go to the movies, So where
What
in
is the
your
definition of discipline? Maybe
what
I
is
need to
the
know what the definition. Yeah.
All right, let's pull that up real quick. Definition of discipline. All right, we're going here. Let's see here. We're gonna Google that. Let's see here. Definition of discipline. The practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior with punishment or other undesired consequences for failing to comply. A branch of knowledge, typically one studied in higher education, right? Train someone to obey rules. And so I think when it comes to personal discipline, right? Like, it's just a code of behavior. When it talks about a code of behavior, right? Or undesired, we say undesired consequences in that. Like, what are the undesired consequences of not doing the work?
Mm. Shoot,
Anybody?
the undesired consequences?
Of not
No,
doing the work.
not doing the work. No reward.
Exactly, right? So that like so yeah, it's obviously like no one's training to obey the rules when it comes to running your own business, except you're training yourself for sure,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you can look at it that way. So yeah, discipline is just right. It's just setting up a framework and following, what you have planned to do. Um, so it's when it comes to, I guess, personal goals. So is there in your business, where in business or life, right? Where does discipline break down? You know, I would say for me, like sometimes, I'm not as organized as I should be for sure. So like my discipline can break down in trying to stay organized. I'm kind of a go, go, go. And then there are times where like I don't get like when I said personal life, like my discipline breaks down where I don't get to do as much as my work out as I want to, but I still get some done. But there are times it's like, hey, life gets in the way, and I don't get to do it as much. Is there a place in your life where you feel like, hey, maybe the discipline does break down?
Um,
Crystal, let's start with you.
yeah, yeah. As far as like where I'm like kind of lacking in discipline and I want to improve, is that what
Well,
you're
yeah,
asking?
well, maybe right. It could be yeah. Where does it where does it break down, right? And that would I would say if it breaks down, you're lacking in consistency. But at the same time, there could be just things that cause your discipline to break down, right? Like at 30, like where it's like, hey, I am good at this, but then all of a sudden something like this, like something like this happens, and then all of a sudden it's like my discipline breaks down, and I have to focus on. I can't focus on the work, right? Are there things that cause your discipline to fall apart in your life?
I would say a huge factor in my discipline sometimes tearing apart is sometimes like I would say, I don't know, maybe where my son is at in school, educational wise, like if he's struggling in something, I would have to sacrifice the time that I was going to spend on, my real estate business to help him
Hmm.
out educationally with school, like help tutor him myself, or, now I, hired a tutor. So now I cut that into my schedule. So I have to like take him to the tutor, or I have to
Hmm.
like give him a little extra, push to understand some new material that he's learning in school. So it's like, dang, like I was supposed to be doing um, some catching up on my real estate business during this time, but
Uh-huh.
I prioritize like my son's struggles over, my business, to be honest
Hmm.
with you.
Yeah,
Another, yeah, go ahead.
and I would say that's discipline there, though. That's not a discipline breakdown, right? You're prioritizing your son's well-being, right? Your son's well-being is part of is connected to your well-being. There's absolutely nothing that's great that you're doing that, you know. So that is absolutely. I wouldn't consider that a form of discipline breakdown. That's you doing what you have to do for your family, and so you are taking care of, like, and then I guess the discipline would be there. Well, okay, if you feel like you are taking away from your business there, obviously we all need rest and rehab, R&R, rest and recovery. But is there a place where you can at least partially replace that in your life? Where you say, okay, maybe I'm not going to take as much me time because I want to have these long term goals. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas, right? Like, but
Hmm.
I think that's absolutely a form of discipline. Like, I don't think you're displaying a discipline breakdown there.
Okay. It's just like I feel like I'm now mentally trained where like there's a certain time when I get home after work, because I'm dual career agent
Yeah.
currently.
Hmm.
So there's a
Hmm.
time where like I dedicate when I get home while he's doing his homework, I'm doing my business.
Hmm. Okay.
So that sorry, somebody just like stop with all the traffic in the road. But yeah, so like when there's a point where he's like struggling with a homework or a new assignment or a new subject, it's like, dang, the time this was my dedicated time where like while he's doing homework, I'm supposed to be doing my work. But yes, I can cut out my personal time that I have like later on in the evening, like from 8 to 10.
Hmm.
I can cut out that time instead of personal, catch up on whatever stuff that I have business related then as well. So
And
I
I wouldn't
can do
cut it
that.
all out. I wouldn't cut it
Mhm.
all out, right? You got to still keep some personal time for you. Like, that is incredibly important, right?
Yeah,
But if
but
yeah, if you say maybe it's 30 minutes of catch up, at least you're playing some sort of catch up and you're keeping right. It was like today, right? I said today I'm feeling sick and run down. I started catching something yesterday. It may have started the day before. I don't know, but at the same time, I just got a little bit of work done, right? Nothing, right? Nothing that would really beat me up or break me down. It was just enough to kind of get a little blood flow and walk on a treadmill, lifting a few weights, doing a few pull-ups, but it was just some work, right? And it was probably only a 20, 25-minute workout today. That was it, but it was something. So you still got to keep your
yeah,
you time.
yeah. That's a challenge sometimes. Especially
Yeah.
for me, like because I know I have to put the work in order to transition into a full-time agent. Like
Hmm.
it's very hard mentally, like you said, like it is very hard like to give myself grace
Hmm.
that I didn't really complete all that I needed to complete. I will kind of get into this mindset of like self-sabotage if I don't finish all that I wanted to do for that day. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's very hard to get out of that mindset when I know my goal is to be a full-time agent. And so there are certain things that I have to implement on my day to day in order for it to
Hmm.
feel like a truly accomplished day. So I don't know. It's just kind of getting out of that headspace.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. So,
mhm.
Fatih, what do you think? Where does discipline break down for you? Fatih, you still with us?
Yeah. So the question is, where does it break down, or where are my
Yeah.
weak spots?
Yeah. Where does no, no, yeah, where do you feel like discipline breaks down in your world?
Like my weak spots, right?
I guess it would be a weak spot. Yeah.
Okay. Um, I guess probably because I do a lot of things on the back end to where I'm trying to set it up to where like I do kind of like event type of lead genning, and sometimes it gets in the way of me doing calls.
Hmm.
Um, and then just like my personal life sometimes can um, get in the way of me doing some of the things that I need to be doing. Honestly, just like how you thought about hiring a tutor, Crystal.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I need to hire I might
Hire
need to
tutor,
invest in a cleaner.
it cleaner. I feel that.
Yes,
Hmm.
because that could definitely be time consuming. But but yeah, I guess like just kind of being motivated and staying in it. Um, and remembering that my avenues and my way and what I'm trying to do is different from other people's. So mine, although it'll take a little bit longer because I'm doing everything on the back end myself, um, that just to stay motivated and remember that like everyone has their timing and my story is different than everyone else's story. So
Hmm.
just because it doesn't look like what it looked like for somebody else does not mean that I'm not doing the work. So I guess giving myself grace in that and just staying disciplined in the thought of and discipline in my goals and separating it from everybody else's goals.
Hmm.
There you go. So what? Yeah, you absolutely. You got to like they say in Bold, right? Don't compare your insides to everyone else's outsides. Like, yeah, you have to focus on your goals and that. That's like how you build your business is definitely different than how other people built theirs. Because again, this you have 100 different realtors and they all built their business 100 different ways. Even though it's the same industry. So, what for you? Like, what does disciplined consistency look like? And I can say, for me, it's just I do the work, right? If I can't not do the work at this point where it comes to making the calls or because I have the checklist, I've put the systems in place. Like I will be like, I will beat myself up personally. Like, if I'm not getting the work done that I said, okay, this is what I have to do. And this is what I have for my checklist today. So for you, what would disciplined consistency look like?
Um, I guess not giving up and just kind of like staying the course. And honestly just trusting the process of what I'm doing because there are other people that have been successful with the method that I'm utilizing. So just
Hmm.
remembering that just because and honestly, like I feel like a lot of people just teach one way of doing real estate, but like there are definitely different other ways. So when my route is just a little bit different from everybody else's, I just sometimes I have to remind myself like your road is different. It's not like everybody else's. Like they're just
Hmm.
people are talking about one way, but there are many different ways. So I guess just reminding myself of that and just having faith and just trusting the process. And that's
Hmm.
that's the that's I guess that's my weak point of like staying disciplined is just realizing that like this is gonna work even though it looks different.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially so what does not giving up look like?
Not giving up would look like basically, I agree with Foxy. Like, not giving up will look like understanding where you're at and how you
Hmm.
need to move forward and giving yourself
Hmm.
that grace and honesty and love that, like, no matter what, you can accomplish whatever you set your mind to. It's just staying focused on what the true goal is and
Hmm.
understanding, like, what are the steps you need to take to get there and making it realistic goals that you make yourself, even if it's for the day, like short term, long term, but just being very consistent and giving yourself the grace that like if you can't finish a full 3 hours, even though you know that 3 hours will look so good if you dedicate 3 hours, but sometimes that 3 hours might just be 30 minutes. I'll
Hmm.
take that 30 minutes versus nothing at all of the 3 hours that you said you were gonna, time
Hmm.
block to accomplish and finish whatever task set forth. So
Yeah.
just keep it going.
Yeah. Fatih, like you specifically said, not giving up. What does that look like for you?
Mm.
I guess that what that looks like is Me not changing course just because I feel like it's not working right now.
Hmm. And I think
Um,
that's a huge one to consider. Like, all right, and good. And I'll give you a prime example, right? Specifically, when I was cold calling, right? Like 9 months gone by, I was cold calling thousands of people a week, and I felt like it wasn't working. And I was ready to give up on it, and I just kept doing it. And a few months later is when I closed $2.5 million in deals and over the course of three deals. Um, so it was staying the course, right, and not getting um, distracted by the new shiny thing. And I can draw a direct parallel to what I'm working on now because I've been doing YouTube and we've been doing YouTube together, obviously, Fati, and um, I'm a little over a year into it. I'm a year and a quarter into it, 15 months into it. And that's a hard market to break into. And, there are times where I feel discouraged with that. So it's easy to be like, am I doing something wrong? So let's finish up one quick question for each of you, and then we'll finish up with the outro monologue. For you, what is one area where you can tighten up your discipline? Or one area that needs tightening within your business or your personal life? And I can start. I'll start with my personal. Like I know that I need to get a little bit more tightening of like I have a goal to run faster, my 5K. I know that because that part of the workout comes toward the end. I can kind of slack off on that sometimes. And if I'm going to get faster sooner, then I need to tighten that up, or I'm not. I may not achieve that goal I've got. So what's one area in your space in your life that could use tightening?
One area that I could tighten up at, I would
Hmm.
say personal, I would say is like getting into like some type of like fitness that I actually enjoy and motivated to do on a daily basis. And then
Hmm.
business is the follow up for me, the follow up of clients. I have a list of clients that I need to follow up on and actually doing it.
Hmm. Okay, that's the name of the game. The fortune is in the follow-up. So by identifying these issues, it helps saying, okay, here's how I can get better. And what about you, Fatih?
um, I'm sorry, what was the question?
One place in your personal or business life that could use tightening to help you achieve your goals,
I
improving
guess
and improve.
in my personal life, I'd probably incorporate working out. And also just figuring out a system that works to where for the household. And also for my business is sometimes I can get really caught up and focused in like trying to make things perfect.
Hmm.
So I guess just because I have this on my wall and I'm trying to practice it, it's just keeping things simple. Just to make sure that it gets done and not worry about it coming out perfect. And then, like Crystal said, also just staying consistent with the follow-ups. It's not that I don't follow up, it's just I gotta remain consistent and also give myself grace because sometimes I feel like I should be following up with people every week, but I'm like, okay, no, it's not every week, it's every quarter.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. Right. You don't want to be that pushy salesperson. So yeah, absolutely. Don't be okay with unless they're in the process of getting ready to do a deal. Every week you'd be annoying. Hey, you want to sell your house? Hey, you want to sell your house? Right? We don't want to be that. Right? So awesome. And both you mentioned working out, and I'm a big proponent of that. I'm working out regularly. Obviously, produces endorphin. It's a happy drug. It definitely, I think, and again, we talked about this yesterday, Fatih, but it's one of the greatest determinants of being healthy later in life. So we're going to finish off today with my closing thoughts. So before you move on with your day, be honest with yourself for a second. When you're tired, when things feel off, when the day isn't going your way, where does your discipline start to slip? In the mornings? Is it and the follow-up, like you mentioned? Is it in the one thing you actually, is it in the one thing you know that actually moves your business forward? Because that's the gap. And that gap over time becomes the difference, not in a day, not in a week, but over months, over years. And that's where the edge is built because disciplined consistency isn't loud, it's quiet, it's repetitive. It is doing the same things over and over again, even when it's hard. So this week, don't try to fix everything. Just tighten one thing, one habit, one block of time. Because when you do that, you stop relying on motivation and you start building something stronger, something sustainable. And if you can stay consistent there, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, that's where the real separation happens. And that's when you win in the long game. So I'm Tony Toit, signing off. Motivated Monday. Good morning and good luck.
Great outro.
I'm going to stop recording.
Oh,
Wait a second. It's up here. I was like, no, I wasn't recording. 1 second here. Come on. This can go away. There we go.